I love the sound of them. So chirpy. We moved these little Cornish cross meat chickens. We got them from Murray McMurray Hatchery, and our friend Wes has been breeding them for the last 2 weeks. We moved them out here 2 days ago, and already they have feathered out so much more. They've grown, and they've been in this spot for 2 days, so we're gonna be moving them. Because when you're breeding this many birds, they can very quickly exhaust the grass. You can even tell here the difference between the grass in the fence and outside of the fence. I'll give them some new space today. It is feeling so thoroughly like fall, and every morning when I wake up and come out early before we get the kids ready to go to school. Usually just come out with my coffee cup right as the sun comes up, and the fog has been so intense. Just these cool mornings. Of course it warms up throughout the day. It's already getting almost too warm to be in a jacket, but it is absolutely gorgeous, and I love waking up. We share so much through the camera, and I love getting to do it. I love getting to share with you guys and encourage you as you're dreaming for farm life and give you a little peace of mind in the waiting. But there are certain times, like very early in the morning, where it's still fairly dark, and then really late in the evening as the sun goes down, that making video doesn't really work just because there's not enough light. And those times have become like secret times for me, and I can tell you about them, but it's hard to show because there's just not enough light to actually show it. And I come out during those times with no camera at all. I don't know, those secret times are sometimes kind of holy, but when there's light, I can show you moments like this. Hey. Are you about to feed everybody?
Yeah.
I'm gonna come with you. We gotta go get the feed. Oh, you're making a space for me. Very nice. Thank you, sir. Lovely morning, eh?
So much moisture.
Yeah, definitely that. I went yesterday and we visited Hannah and Hope, the cow, and her heifer calf, which I've decided a name for, and I'll tell you guys later. But we are getting ready. Next week she's gonna be coming to the farm, and Hannah was telling us that we need to put together just like a small corralled area to keep her in, because basically we have to teach her that we mean food and love pats and affection and gentleness, because if we were to just let her loose in our big field, we might never catch her. You ready?
Yeah.
What do you say, sweet Maya? Nice farm.
I know, but that's what I always say. Nice farm.
Good morning. This came up on our Friends of Roots and Refuge Facebook group the other day where somebody was talking about this plant. It's called red shank. It's a like a wild variety of buckwheat, and it is all over my property. And you can't really see it right now because it's so bright out here, but during certain times of day you look out over these fields and you can just really see the pink patches, and I really love that. It reminds me of the pink door on my old garden. I love that pink, and I also love the fact that it's growing wild all throughout our field. No eggs?
Not this time.
I think they're going into kind of the off season.
Yeah, they old.
Yeah, they're old too. Hey girls. Hey big mamas. Yeah, still no piglets.
Her back end is swollen.
I know, she was so swollen yesterday. Well, Clem, you've made sure that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not even gonna guess anymore. Good morning, piggies. Good morning, girls. I think if we have time, we're gonna try to work on these garden spaces this afternoon. It's Friday, so Jackson has a football game tonight, and it's kind of a big deal. In a small town, Friday night football is definitely a thing. And so it's like our big social thing of the week to go to the football game. Plus he is playing and he's doing really well. And so I've never been a big sports fan, but when my baby is on the field, I'm definitely more attentive to the game than I have ever been before. So we may get started on this project, but I don't know if I will get just a ton planted. It just depends on how much time we have before we have to leave for the game. Hey girls. So which way are we going with them? I thought you were wanting to move them up towards the water.
I'm gonna wait till they're more trained to
Follow the bucket.
following the feed, because I think right now we're gonna have a hard time moving them because they're so new to this routine. So I'm gonna try and keep this wall intact and literally just flip this net this way.
Okay.
I think it'd be easier.
Maybe we'll get a little chicken chasing cardio in this morning.
I really hope not.
So you're trying to leave that T-post in the same place so you don't have to move all that? Okay, cool.
Try and keep this wall the same.
Well, they're definitely getting curious about it. That's good. Well, they're about to... Oh, Maya.
Uh-oh.
Little go-getters. They're hungry. Alright, I'm going to do this while Maya sets the grounding rod and gets this set up. He had to move the grounding rod to the other side, so it would be outside of the fence. Maya was showing me his idea this morning. These massive chicken feeders, they hold a lot of feed, and they're really great for meat birds, so we leave feed out for them all day. Problem with these feeders is if it rains or if the dew settles or if the chickens roost on top, this can get wet or pooped in and it can mold or get spoiled. So Maya bought some of these little pans to set on top, and we poured feed in them to get them to move, but I'm gonna put them back on top of these. My friend Amanda was actually, hey homie.
No, just stay in there for a second.
He closing me in. I'm not that kind of chick. My friend Amanda was texting me last night. She has a channel called City Sowers, and they came and stayed with us at our old house, so you guys might remember them. They live in California and they raise meat birds. and make a little feeder. They start with ice cream buckets and they move to 5-gallon buckets where the chicks can actually put their heads in. And I was telling Maya about that, and he was saying we might try that. This is just what we have, and the innovation that he came up with to make what we have work.
This was more complicated because in an ideal situation, we would have a second shocker knot net, and we would come and set it up where we wanted it, and then move them into it, close them in, you know, button it up, and then just take this one down and store it until the next time we needed to move them. But because I only got this one, and I only got it because Justin was being kind, because you can't currently buy them anywhere, we're just gonna have to make do with one until we can get another one.
So really with any animals, it's easier if you have more than one netting or more than one setup. If you're using
electric netting to rotate, it's best to have, even like if you can even do multiple ahead of time, then you, other than just moving the animals, you don't have to do what we just did every single day. Yeah. Pasturing
poultry like this and using netting with a solar panel, it's a really beneficial way of raising meat because all of that nitrogen that is being produced by these birds, whereas if you kept them in one place, if you've ever raised meat birds like Cornish crosses or any chickens at all, and you've kept them contained in one area, even a pretty decent sized area, you've probably experienced how bad that can smell, just how gross it is all around. But that's not great for you as a farmer, as a homesteader, dealing with that. It's not great for the birds to be living in that. And there's a great benefit in moving them daily. They sat on the grass we had them on for 2 days. With this many birds, that will not be feasible beyond them being this small. Like within a couple weeks, they'll have to be moved every day because they'll just completely exhaust one area with all of their manure and as well as eating the grass. But by moving them after 2 days, that grass is a little tamped down now. It's a little eaten, but it's now gotten a nice shot of fertilizer and we're moving it off and it's gonna be super green. In fact, by next spring, after we raise this round of meat birds, we will fill our freezer with food for our family, but also by the spring, our grass on our farm will be rejuvenated, it'll be fertilized, and it'll be refreshed for the spring. And that is really awesome if you're running pasture animals. So eventually we will be doing this behind our cow. We'll be running, you know, some meat chickens or our layer hens behind our cows, and they'll go through and scratch through the manure. They'll eat any like larvae of flies or pests that might be in that manure. If there's any grain in that manure, they will clean it out. It is using everything and not wasting. And they are building up the pasture while we do that, because whenever we're trying to think of regenerative farming, we want to think of building soil. It's all about adding back into it rather than just taking from it. And I was talking to Maya about having, you know, multiple nets. Now, right now, we only have one of this kind of net. They're sold out everywhere, and our friend gave this one to us. And so you know, sometimes you're just going to be in a position where you just have to make do. And a lot of times whenever you're trying to grow food or have a farm, making do is better than doing nothing at all. I gotta show y'all this. Oh man, I missed it. Jeremiah was going through the field on the four-wheeler and the goats were running after him one way and then the turkeys came down running the other way. And the alpacas are under the tree over there, completely unconcerned about him. But yeah, I wanted to point out that you can have multiple nets, you can have, you know, set up multiple paddocks at once, and then you just have to let them into the next one and then let them into the next one, and then you can tear them all down and, you know, set up for the next couple of days. And that way you're only moving fences every few days. I really want to be an advocate for this way of doing things because I think it's healthier all around for the animals, for us, and for the earth. And I think a lot of people kind of brush off this idea because of the required work that's involved with it. But when I think about doing it this way, with these meat birds, with our chickens, our layer hens, having these mobile coops and netting, like we don't ever have to muck out a chicken coop. We don't ever have to, you know, deal with manure in that sense. And that's a big benefit. That's a chore that's really nice to mark off the list. Well guys, my camera battery is very low, so I'm gonna say goodbye to you for now. thank you for hanging out with me today, doing our morning homestead chores. I bless you. Until next time.